What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sad Panda Presents. This is a podcast and a show for you that we're going to talk about some music. Right now we're going through the Consequences Sounds top 100 albums of all time. Fair warning, we drink and say things. Sometimes they're offensive. Anyway, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Shane.
So what's been going on, baby?
Not a lot at all, man. Starting to crack under the pressure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for the most part. But everything's going okay. Just getting work done from home. It's they keep pushing stuff back as far as what we're doing and when we're going to start doing things. So it's kind of looking like maybe we're not going back for the rest of the year.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd be more surprised if we went back than if we didn't, for the most part. So, nothing real crazy. Just catching up with people online and just trying to stay sane. I did see, that tomorrow, they're gonna stream a live Aphex Twin, show, which is neat.
Huh. Okay.
And then I think Mega Ran's got a concert tomorrow too that I'm gonna listen to.
Neat.
So beyond that, just eating a lot, like a lot. Eating and growing carrots. I got some carrots growing. I've got some lettuce and cayenne peppers all growing that are starting to sprout. So that's fun.
Nice.
And so I gotta do that crap, but I feel like if I mow the lawn, if it takes me more than one day to mow the lawn, I don't want to do it because then what am I going to do tomorrow? So I'm going to weed eat today. I'll mow the front tomorrow, then I'll mow the back maybe the next day. I'm just kind of taking my time, playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I jumped on that train. I'm very proud of the island. I named my island Sardonic, so I was very proud of that.
Huh.
So that's my highlight. That, and then I actually picked up a game called Bastion.
Okay.
It's really, really fun. It's a really cool game. It was like I've heard people talk about it before and how the art style was neat, and it's a pretty good game. The art style's fun. There's pretty good music and stuff in it too, so it's a good one. I highly recommend it.
Right on, man.
And it was only I think it was on sale for like $3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's worth the checkout for sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, beyond that, just pretty much it. I had my first meeting with my students today, so I had to do like an online sort of office hour thing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty much sums it up. What about you, Bubba?
Fucking A, man. Just working, like normal shit for me, like we are finally moved into the new house, finally have like counters and a backsplash and all that shit. So that's really good.
Right on.
Yeah, it's basically done except for like just odds and ends. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So just the fine touches and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we're completely out of the other place.
Oh, right on.
So, I mean, it's all good. My workshop spaces are still kind of getting used as a little bit of overflow, which is not the best, but it's fine for, it's not much, and, most everything is in the garage, so it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, we just gotta organize all that garage shit.
Oh, okay. Well, so nothing real crazy.
No. Just a full-ass garage, and then, so we can't park in there yet, but whatever. It's hard to say, like, with everything that's going on, it's hard to be like, that's my worst complaint.
Yeah, for sure, right? Like, I went to H-E-B the other day and it freaked me right the fuck out.
Yeah, dude, grocery stores suck a big bag of dicks right now.
Yeah, man, it was like everybody had masks on and they had like bandanas. Like everybody had like a face covering of some kind. And it was just freaky to be, like it was just weird to see. I was like, oh shit, like this is weird. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, work's normal, so, but we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. That's me, doing a lot of bird watching, that's pretty much it. We built a bird feeder and, yeah, I kind of want to get like a blowgun or like a 20 like pump action so I can shoot some dove like every now and again that land in my yard, but I know it's like super illegal, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's just been wet here and, shit's like real green. Our pecan tree is starting to bud out and leave out, I should say. Like, leaves are coming back on it, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking green as shit, so.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really rainy the last, I think today was a good day. It was nice outside and yesterday too.
Yeah.
But pretty much from Sunday, Saturday, Friday, last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all those days were just garbage.
Oh, dude, yesterday was the prettiest day of the year here. And then it's been rainy and shit outside of that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Kind of the same. I'm in the same boat. I know what you're talking about.
So,
nothing fucking going on, really. Just trying to maintain my sanity for the most part.
Yeah. No, man, I feel really lucky that, not only do I still have a job, but that I get to drive out and go to my job, every day.
You get to talk with humans? Like in the flesh?
Yeah. Our organization is restructuring a little bit and cause we don't have a dedicated engineering group. So that's something they're going to create and, we'll have dedicated engineering managers and stuff that manage the fleet of engineers that is rapidly growing. And so, I told my boss, I was like, so, when I've got an engineering manager, does that make you my step boss? So whenever I'm frustrated, I can storm out of your office and yell at you you're not my real boss and slam the door.
You're not my real engineer.
But I'm afraid he would take my office door off its hinges.
Post some real shit on you.
Yeah.
You want to slam doors around here, huh, motherfucker? Pop them hinges off real quick.
Yeah, so that was the running joke after that meeting today.
It'll just get you a bead curtain and slam that mother.
Oh man.
Was that old Mitch Hedberg joke where he's I got in an argument with my girlfriend in a tent. And how do you express your anger in this situation? You just zip it up really quickly. Zip, zip. Fuck you. Oh shit, that's funny. Anyway, hey, goodness
gracious.
Puberty's finally coming in.
I know, right?
It's weird. I got all this hair everywhere. I don't want to talk about. Also, another thing, I've been watching a lot of shows now, and okay. I got into, I watched the third season of Castlevania. That was really, really good. If you haven't seen that.
No, I haven't.
It turned out really well. I like it, honestly, I like it better than 2.
Good.
To be honest with you. Mm-hmm. It kind of bounced back, and it was very interesting. I did watch The Tiger King, which was...
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh man, it's like the Wild and Wonderful World of Whites, dude.
Yeah,
but with tigers, it really is, dude. That's so fucked up.
That's kind of what I've pieced together from everything I've heard. So, I want to. We just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, they're fucking garbage, fucking people. But it's good though. It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
Oh man, but so did that. I watched. I got through about season 5 of Naruto. I got into that one, so I'm about halfway done with the first part of it. And it's fine. It's fine. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got into Community, which was that, it had Joe McHale and, Donald Glover and Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Show.
Yeah.
It's like about a community college. It is super good. It is really, really good. It's up there with like Parks and Rec for me now. Like, It's one of those shows. Yeah. I highly recommend it. And, Donald Glover's character is literally the funniest. The funniest in that show. I don't know what it is about him, but I lose my fucking mind when he's on. Like every time he's on.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good show. I highly recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen like an episode or two, but I just never had, I don't know, I'm not fucking laid off or working from home, that's awesome, but it means that I don't get to partake in the maddening, stuck at home life of everybody else. And
yeah, for sure. In a way, I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie. This spring break has lasted way too long. I am starting to lose it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't complain because I also do still have a job, so I can't really talk shit.
Yeah, man.
I know. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I just gotta make the best of it, even though it's super shitty for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, if you're an out-of-work engineer, we're hiring. Go work at the wind farms.
There you go.
You're gonna have to live in the middle of fucking nowhere, but, hey.
It is what it is, man.
It's a good job. It's a good company.
Right on. Cool.
I'm still not...
You've said nothing but positive things, especially leaving the last job that I remember you talking about saying that you just fucking hated it.
Yeah, I hated that fucking job. And, I mean, I'm only a few months into this one, but I'm not cynical yet, so we'll see. We'll check in at like a year and 2 years and see where we're at,
We'll have a recap.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, fucking it. Well, you want to get into this? We haven't talked about what we're talking about today.
Yeah, man. Fucking Chili Peppers. God, this is a good album. I don't want to play my cards early, but fuck yes. Whoa.
Yeah, this is the fifth album from Red Hot Chili Peppers. It is Blood Sugar Sex Magik, and it was released in 1991, in September 1991. In fact, honestly, doing research for this album was one of the more interesting, like the more fun parts for me. Like the album's good, but there's a lot of fun stuff in here about just kind of how everything came together and their, just the band members themselves. Like, I know, Anthony was it Keens or Kynes? I can't pronounce his name.
The singer?
The lead singer?
Yeah.
He wrote a book not too long ago about kind of his just life and being in the Chili Peppers and stuff. And I've heard it's really good, but I read a couple of excerpts from that's really interesting. There's a lot of crazy shit about this album.
Yeah.
But for the most part, as a whole, what did you feel about it?
Dude, so everybody knows, like, Under the Bridge and, like, Give It Away. But I was, like, really introduced to this album, as well as, like, the greater work of Chili Peppers, probably in my, like, mid-teens. And between this, Mother's Milk, and Uplift Mofo Party Plan, like, God, dude, it hooked me on this band, and, like, to this day, fucking Chili Peppers is one of my, like, favorite bands. Like, probably, I don't know, top 10. It's, like, top tier.
Really? I didn't know that about you.
Oh, dude, these guys are fucking awesome. Like, The Flea, fucking John Frusciante, the lead singer, we were just talking about him.
Anthony.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude, just, like, the lyrical stylings, the use of, like, funk, and they mix in, like, some fucking heavy metal riffs here and there, and, like, they throw they do such a good job. Like I've heard the term like modern day Rolling Stones or modern day Beatles as far as like what they did to like popular music. And I think that's not too far off.
Yeah, especially especially this album for the most part, because this is like 91.
Yeah.
And, when I was doing some research, actually this album and Nevermind came out on the same day.
Oh, no shit.
Uh-huh. And then, so those came out all together, and then, honestly, MTV was huge at this point. Like, this is when MTV was like, everybody watched MTV.
Yeah.
And they could make or break bands.
Right.
And so this is one of these guys are for sure a definite, that's where they got most of their fame. A lot of their fame was from MTV.
Yeah.
Or at least like nationally, as opposed to like the LA scene with the surfers and things like that were more of their kind of style. So,
right.
Or their fan base for the most part. And, oh goodness, there was something, and, it's interesting because like, they had, there's a lot, just the story of how they recorded this album, like, this is the first album that they, got signed to Warner Brothers, I think.
Yeah.
It was Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers. And, there's a couple mentions of, the producer of this album, Rick Rubin, and at first they kind of didn't want to work with him, but he kind of got them all together on the same page, as opposed to like their earlier stuff where it was more raw punk, high energy, feel good stuff, but they kind of more delved into and you could tell in this album there's a couple of songs where they delve into more of a softer side and more ballady stuff. And also, Rick Rubin, man, he is crazy. He has an extensive list of people that he's worked with.
Yeah.
Just going through, like, his stuff, man. He did Raising Hell by Run DMC. He did Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of a Millions to Hold Us Back. He did a bunch of LL Cool J's, Rage Against the Machine, Johnny Cash. He did Further Down the Spiral with Nine Inch Nails. Mars Volta's Deloused in the Comatorium. He worked with the Beastie Boys, Dixie Chicks, Santana, Wu-Tang Clan, System of a Down, Tom Petty, Jay-Z. Like
yeah.
So many,
So,
he is.
If you're a big name, if you're a big name, you've worked with this guy basically.
Almost. Metallica, Weezer, Coheed. There's a whole. Shakira, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
He's worked with so many different people, and he's known for being this really big guru in music. So this is one of his more early, when he started to actually get a name for himself. This is when it kind of propelled him, especially working with these guys. And he also did a License to Ill from Beastie Boys before that. And a couple but more hip hop before this, but then he kind of branched out as far as he goes.
Well, and, I know this was an explosive album for these guys. And dude, the way, I'm not a huge hip hop guy, but goddamn, the way they meld hip hop and funk is masterful, especially on this album. Fucking, If You Have to Ask, Power of Equality, Funky Monk, Suck My Kiss, Sir Psycho Sexy, Apache Rose Peacock, fucking the title track, Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Dude, this album is solid gold.
For sure. I completely agree. And I think, it's real funky. Flea has a real fun sound. And then, also John Frusciante, who's I think he was 18 or 19 or 17 or something when he joined the band.
Yeah, but dude, those two people specifically, the Flea is god tier bass player.
Oh, for sure.
And John Frusciante is he's not one of my biggest guitar influences, but he's right the fuck up there as far as skill level. And if you're gonna fucking play in a band with the Flea, you gotta be. And I don't know the name of their drummer, but he's just on fucking point with every single song. So
Yeah. In fact, Flea said this about Chad Smith when they were making this album, that Chad would bring them back from floating off into the sissy boy ether. So that was a fun thing. And then also, as far as Flea goes, he does contribute a little bit of his style change, where he, instead of doing the heavy hammering sound like he normally did, he kind of toned that back a bit, because I think he was talking with Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth, and she was saying that style is just kind of overplayed into like machismo as far as bass playing goes. So he kind of like took that to heart and kind of backed off that heavy slap bass stuff.
I mean, yes and no, like.
Well, not as much as like earlier albums, I should say.
Okay.
It's still there, but it's not like as prominent.
That being said, the fucking bass riffs here are some of my favorite bass riffs, period.
Oh, for sure. They're fun. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that the quality of all the musicians are up there.
Yeah, I mean, like, my favorite bass riff of all time is in this album, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I know what it is. Well, I mean, I can't play it because I don't play bass and I'm not the fucking Flea. But it's in this album. It's in my fucking favorite song. So we'll get there.
Okay. Well, we'll get there. Okay, cool. And just a couple other kind of things I wanted to talk about real quick is, if you've never seen this video, you can probably find it somewhere online. It's, they were actually really good friends with River Phoenix.
Oh, no shit.
And, and he hung out like all the time at, so they actually, when they recorded this album, instead of going to the studio, what Rick Rubin did was he invited them to live in his house for like 2 months. And they basically stayed there while they were actually, developing the album. Except for who? Somebody didn't want to stay there because the fucking house was haunted.
That's awesome.
Like, I think it was Chad Smith. I think, he wouldn't stay there because he was like, dude, this is scaring the shit out of me. Like, I don't want to be here. And, cause this house was made it was built in like the 1910s or something like that.
Okay.
It had been refurbished so like gangsters used to hang out there. The Beatles used to party there. Like everybody, like a bunch of like people would party there.
Right.
And, what they said, I think it was Fashanti said that he, in his room at this haunted house, he could hear the sound of a girl getting pleasured really good. And so he'd stay up all night. He'd stay up at night and he's like, I didn't jerk off because I wanted to give my energy, but I heard this one night and I was like, dude, I had to do it. It's like, okay. So,
well, that's a good segue into a lot of the themes of this album. This album is very sexual.
Yes, yeah, it is. There's a number of songs that are just about sex or fucking or that kind of thing. There's also, there are different themes throughout the album, but that's, I think, the heaviest one.
I think so too. Come on, it's all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. You got Funky Monk, Suck My Kiss, or Psycho Sexy, Blood Sugar Sex Magik. I would even, what was the other one?
I'd go as far as to say as Give It Away, Mellowship Slinky, Apache Rose Peacock.
Dude. Yeah, Slinky for sure. I would make a distinction for which one did you say that I would say something different? I can't remember.
Probably Give It Away.
Yeah, Give It Away is more, it's not quite as, there is some sexuality to it, but it's not.
What I got, you gotta get it, put it in you.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. There is sexuality.
Yeah, compared to Sir Psycho Sexy, it's tame for sure. For sure.
But I think more of Give It Away is more of I think it, even though it happens to have this innuendo, I think it's more about love and spirituality and that kind of thing, where you give you give away your love, your, you know what I mean? You share that with people.
Sure.
I think that was more, it just had very tongue in cheek about it.
Yeah, yeah. And
they're not fucking good lyric writers. They are, but
yeah,
they're not it's not super intellectual.
It's not. It's very clever. But super intellectual, no, it's super childish. super like preteen horny.
Yeah, no, it's very sexually charged.
But in the most like intelligent delivery, or clever delivery, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't know,
I agree.
Some of the lines are just amazing. So,
oh, for sure. And then I mean, you have, and what I was really surprised was with this album is that it's not just that. Like there's some, like Power of Equality is talking about racism, ending racism.
Right.
Righteous and the Wicked is sort of they talk about like environmental issues and like the environmental apocalypse.
Right.
And, as well as like Naked in the Rain has like themes of, animal rights and protecting the ecology of the world.
Yeah, it does. It's, like they have good messages here. It's just intertwined with, let's fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean, they'll drop a couple songs that are not that, but then like, there's gonna be a fuck song every third or fourth song is a fuck song.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's that, and there's nothing that I can't knock it. It's good. So I can't really
knock it. All of my favorite songs are fuck songs. Like,
yeah, well, there you go. There you go.
This is one of their best albums. I mean, this is fucking top tier Chili Peppers, and you know, with this album they found the formula. I feel like this exploded. And I think working with Rick Rubin, like, he just fucking found the formula of the Chili Peppers, because this is widely regarded as their best album. And it's hard to argue with that. Yeah,
and they mention Rick being a very key player because of what he did for the album and getting them to kind of, I guess, take it more seriously and be more open with kind of what they're writing and things like that.
So,
as opposed to just fucking around, and instead of being, you know, the dudes who wear socks over their dicks and
yeah, they did do that. That's really funny.
That is a thing they did. It's definitely a thing they did.
So speaking of this being regarded as their best album, is this your favorite Chili Peppers album?
To be honest with you, I'm not real. I really don't listen to a lot of Chili Peppers. I think I've only heard like 3 or 4 albums from them, and I know they have like 7 or 8. Cause I know I've heard this one. I know this one. I've heard, Mother's Milk for sure. I know bits and pieces of Californication because that was all over MTV when I was like 12 or 13, like in 2000, 2001. Like that was constantly on the air. Like I heard it all the time, and so it kind of burnt me out on them because of that one song.
Yeah.
But for that, and then there was a later album that an ex of mine would play all the time that wasn't, it was fine. Like I didn't really care for it. But it was one of their later albums. But so I don't have like a deeper knowledge of them, but from what I've heard before, this is their best album.
Yeah. And
but again, I'm not an authority, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably their best album. I really, really liked Uplift Mofo Party Plan also.
Okay.
It had Walking On Down the Road, which is an amazing song. And, I don't know, like, Funky Crime and Fight Like a Brave. And then Mother's Milk, like, I'm not as familiar. I've listened to it several times, and it's an album that is a lot of people's favorites. Especially if you talk to like, Chili Peppers hipsters, they're gonna like, oh, Mother's Milk. And they're not wrong. It's a good fucking album. That's where they did the Higher Ground cover.
The Stevie Wonder song?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they also did like Taste the Pain and like, I don't know, there's a bunch of good shit on there, but, this album and Uplift Mofo Party Plan I'm probably most familiar with. The first album I ever had was Californication because, that's what came out around the time when I was growing up, right?
I
was 2 when this album came out, so.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, for sure.
So I got familiar with Californication, and I was like, this band is good, but it was this and Uplift Mofo, those two albums that just like fucking sealed the deal for me. But yeah.
I got you. So yeah, but for the most part, as far as all of that, the only song that I remember listening to from them that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, was that when they did the Love Roller Coaster song for Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I lost my fucking mind when I heard that. Like, it was so, I was like, this is amazing. Especially in the video, in the movie, when they're like jamming out to this fucking like lounge lizardy looking band and stuff.
Dude, I forgot about that. Oh, that's so good. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, that happens to be like, I like that one and then like Aeroplane, and those are the only two songs that I really knew of them.
Yeah.
Before, you know.
Aeroplane was probably like one of the first songs that I was like, oh fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So from this album, what are some of your highlights? You don't have to go into top 3, but just, what are some of your highlights and whereabouts on this album are you happiest, and we'll get into lowlights later.
Okay, for sure. For the most part, I do, again, I was surprised at the kind of the varied themes, especially like when there's two different songs where he talks about like relationships with women, like the Under the Bridge. I mean, I Could Have Lied and Breaking the Girl.
Yeah.
I think honestly for me, those ballady songs are the ones that I gravitate more towards.
Okay.
So I know Under the Bridge is like the song, and you hear it at every bar, every karaoke, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super overplayed, but that doesn't make it a bad song.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm leaning more toward those songs. Like I Could Have Lied, Breaking the Girl, and Under the Bridge, where it's more kind of honest and not about fucking.
Yeah.
Like, which is weird because like I like the funk side, but it's strange for me to come into this album and then not lean toward the funk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That is a little strange because this album's got, it's so fucking funky.
For sure. And I do like, cause Under the Bridge, he talks about addiction. I'm sure everybody's heard the story.
Yeah.
I Could Have Lied and Breaking the Girl. I really like the Breaking the Girl cause he talks about kind of his womanizing ways and how his dad was the same way, and that he's like repeating the cycle of that kind of womanizing lineage, I suppose, So I like that for sure.
Breaking the Girl is it might be my favorite acoustic song on here. I know it's not totally acoustic and blah, 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 but like it might be my favorite of that style with I Could Have Lied like right there. Cause man, those are good songs. Under the Bridge, I really enjoy it. I fell in love with it the first time I heard it, but it is overplayed, and that does add a stigma to it, and like it puts a bad taste in your mouth here and there, just like, oh, I've heard this 1,000 fucking times. Like, I don't need to hear it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And then I also liked it's not my favorite song, but I do like that they do have kind of an ode to their first guitar player, Slovak, who passed away. He died of a heroin overdose in 88 or 89, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
So My Lovely Man, that's about him.
Okay.
And kind of like I'll see you when we get there kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm. And but I did like, Give It Away's fun, and it does have that sexual, we kind of talked about that, the sexual overtones, but like more, I feel like it was more of like a love and peace and spirituality, because they do still have, they still are a California band, so there are these like sort of hippie tones in there, and they talk about love and be open, and again with the environmental stuff like Righteous and the Wicked.
Yeah. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, they have good messages. And not in all of their songs. Fucking Blood Sugar Sex Magik is basically about a blood sex cult. But, like, that's one of those songs that's just like, we're writing this to be freaky, funky, to be freaky, styly,
Yeah, for sure.
And so I don't know. Yeah,
but that was just I mean, I was kind of surprised with that, and mostly that I didn't like. As far as the funk goes, it wasn't what got me to like this album.
Okay.
So strange. Oh, weird.
Yeah,
what about you, Bub? What are some of your highlights?
Man, Apache Rose Peacock is amazing. Funky Monks, dude, Funky Monks. It goes through like movements almost. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I like how they had like the pre-chorus and then the chorus and then it's real. That's one of the better songs on here for sure.
I think so too. Power of Equality, man. It's the first song on the album and they just fucking kill it. They're like, this is who we are. This is our message. And yeah, let's fucking do it. Oh
yeah, for sure.
And I like that they come out of the gate with a song with a positive message like that. But it's also funky and it's also rock and it's great. I think it's a really good way to introduce the album and it's definitely a highlight. Also, They're Red Hot. That's a highlight for me as well.
They're Red. I will get to that. I went down a rabbit hole from that song.
Yeah,
and I will get to that in a bit.
They didn't write that.
No, that is actually a Robert Johnson song.
It is. It is.
And I will go down that rabbit hole a little later.
All right, we'll get there. Man, yeah, I was going to say, I have some words to say about that one too. But
I think we did the same, we might have done the same thing, maybe.
Well, so They're Red Hot, like, the first time I heard this album, I don't know that I knew that, but listening to it this time, like, I've heard the original. Come up on, like, the Satellite Blues radio or something like that. Just in my blues deep dive that I got real heavy into. So, like, yeah. Anyway, do you have any, I don't know, like, lowlights, or are there any things about this album that you're just not feeling?
Honestly, I mean, I hate to say this, but I feel like this album's just maybe a couple songs too long.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I feel like there's too much funk. Ooh, I hate to say that, but I know it's like their thing, but there's just a couple of funk songs that just could have not been on here, and I think it'd have been alright, because mostly what they wanted to do was make it a double album, but then they were like, they kind of shied away from that, so they just made it really long. It's a longer album for the most part.
It is. It's 17 goddamn songs.
Yeah.
And
so Naked in the Rain, I like the message, but like we could have not had that song.
Okay.
Like they could have taken a couple of them out, or the
greeting song.
I didn't. The greeting song that could be gone, and the one you mentioned one, or the Slinky. Is it? Oh God, I didn't write the tracks down.
Oh. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, but for the most part, if they would have just cut a couple of the funk songs out of here, I think it would have been a lot better.
All right.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the length of the album. And then, like, I want to say Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Is that the one that's super long, or is it Apache Rose Peacock?
Apache Rose Peacock it's longer. Yeah, I think that one's a little longer than
it's like 8 minutes long or something.
No. Sir Psycho Sexy.
Sir Psycho Sexy. That is the one that's like 8 minutes long.
The 8 minutes, and so they could have cut that song in half.
But it's such a good 8 minutes though.
It's fun, but man, can we wrap it up, please?
I understand, especially towards the end of the album, where some fatigue could set in with that one, but oh man. Oh, it's just it's so good.
It just, I mean, for an 8-minute song, for me, it didn't move that. It didn't feel like it moved that much. Like I don't
think it was supposed to. I think the whole point of that song was to saunter along. Like, it's the tone of that song is supposed to reflect the personality of Sir Psycho Sexy himself, and he doesn't rush. He fucking saunters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just,
yeah.
You could have shaved a couple minutes off of there for me. That would have been all right.
I get that. I get that.
And then, the Mellow Ship Slinky. That one, you could just take that one right off for me.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like, Under the Bridge, I get it, but it is overplayed. And by the time I heard this full album, I had heard that song 1,000 times. So, like, for me, I don't need it. But
yeah,
I understand. Well, I understand how important it is because you know it helped. It was one of the songs in this album that blew the fuck up. So it's
for
required.
Sure. And, I mean, also, I
could live
this is in the
without it.
90s. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
it's all right.
I mean, this is in the 90s, man. Like, this is where grunge is coming up, and you know, it's hard to say that they were like an alternative to the alternative. Like, instead of doing the grunge thing, you know what I mean? Or the Pearl Jams and the Meat Puppets and the Nirvanas of the world, you had these guys as a kind of a anti.
Yeah, well, it's like fucking grunge is coming up and then a funk album? What?
For sure. And then, but I think the Under the Bridge, especially when you have all these bands who talk about like addiction, like, like your band, the dude who fuck me.
Alice in Chains?
Alice in Chains.
Yeah,
like
Lane Staley.
Heroin addiction. Yeah. I mean, their own bass player, Slovak, he passed away from it. So I think talking about that, like bringing that to light, with kind of a crossover between the grunge, heroin.
And I mean, it's a big deal, especially where they're at, geographically. Like, that area, Southern California, was a big fucking problem. Like, it contributed massively to their homeless problem, too. So, I totally get that. Alright, so, I mean, we talked about it a little, but before we get into top threes, do you have any P songs? I mean, I guess we talked a little bit about Naked in the Rain and my,
I think I went over the low notes for the most part. I don't have there's not one particular song that's like, but collectively those 3 or 4 songs like kind of make up one for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But before we do move on, I want to mention one quick thing. When we were talking about, I just noticed this. When we were talking about Under the Bridge, there's a bit of a connection we have here with another artist that we've covered, actually. For the music video, the director of the music video was, Gus Van Sant. And Gus Van Sant was, he's more of an avant-garde director.
Okay.
And, he actually directed the movie Good Will Hunting.
Oh, okay. And
in that movie, they use a lot of Elliott Smith. Like, that's like Elliott Smith's big break into fame was a lot of his music being in that movie. So we have a bit of a connection there between these two artists.
Well, fucking A, Cotton.
So just fun facts.
Okay, well, we had also talked about They're Red Hot. So if that's not in your top 3, we can delve a little deeper into that, or if it is.
No. Oh, no, baby bear. Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Right.
No, we're not there yet.
All right. Well, then, in that case, do you want me to start, or do you want to go with number 3?
You do 3 and I'll do 3. I'll do 3.
All right.
So your 3, my 3.
Well, so my number 3 is going to be Suck My Kiss. This song hooked me from day one, and I just love everything about it. I don't know, like, what do you say about it? It's funky, and it's got a good guitar solo, and like, it just...
Not fucking.
It's not fucking. It's just, it's a lot of fun. Like, I love this song. It's so much fucking fun. Just for you, I'd steal anything that you want me to. Like, I fucking love that. Like, dude, it's so good. It's so good. And honestly, I'm not sure if it should be in the top 3, because Apache Rose Peacock should probably take its place. But, because that song is fucking amazing. So it's kind of between those. But Yeah, like it's gonna be my number 3.
Right on. Yeah, I agree with the Patchy Rose Peacock, because especially since they talk about one of my favorite cities. I love New Orleans. I think New Orleans is so interesting, and then they have a song about it. That really tipped the scale for me. I was like, okay, all right, you know what? You wrote a song about New Orleans.
Dude,
okay.
I fell in love with New Orleans the first time I went, and every time I've been back, it's better.
Yeah.
Because every time I've been back, like, I get away. I mean, I still go out and party and shit like that, but I get away from that a little more every time I go back and take in more, like, history and more of the city. Plus the food. Come on. I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The food in Louisiana is, like, just, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, New Orleans itself, especially for the most part, the New Orleans food is different than the Cajun food found in like other major cities and things like that. It's got more of a rich flavor. Yeah. But it is one of the like meccas for culinary people, because it has, I mean, it's a seafood place, you know, like it's that Cajun style, but they add their little, that French and things like that added to, seafood.
Well, and then in addition to food, we should mention music, because New Orleans is a major hub of like fucking Delta blues,
the jazz, man,
and the jazz, and like, dude, everything about New Orleans is, you know, aside from the fact that I wouldn't want to live there because, you know, I don't want to have to rebuild my house every 5 years, but like, you know, fuck, it's a great city.
Yeah, when I lived there, it was the murder city capital of the U.S. So
hey, well, you know,
that was fun. Yeah. But no, New Orleans is amazing, especially if you ever get a chance while you're there, and to kind of venture down into the Garden District.
Yeah,
they have those really old Victorian homes with like the columns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and those like wrought iron gates and with like the fleur de lis on them and stuff like that. Yeah, those are so like, I love that area. Well, especially if you've ever read like Anne Rice, she does a lot of her stuff in Louisiana, but more specifically New Orleans. Yeah, well,
I mean, fuck, man, it's got so much going for it. Like, in addition to the food and the music, just art in general. Like, we were there I was there with a big group of people for my brother's birthday, along with like a couple other people we were with. It was like all of their birthday weekends, and a fucking Laredo tipped me off that he was walking past this art gallery with my brother, and they had this painting of the artist had this painting of Slash out there, and it's kind of trippy. It's like, I don't know, like, have you ever seen like when somebody takes a picture and the shutter's fucking up so it makes it all wavy? It was kind of like that, but done in paint, like oil paint. And he was looking at it, and Laredo tipped me off, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go buy that. And so he's got this badass painting of Slash that I got him, and it's so good. And just walking around the art galleries there too you'll see some amazing art from New Orleans artists it's just out of this fucking world, man.
Oh yeah, I remember when I lived there, Blue Dog was a big thing. I don't remember if you ever knew of Blue Dog, but that artist from New Orleans, that Blue Dog, that was like every fucking where. Yeah, in like the late 90s, early 2000s ish.
Right.
But no, I completely agree.
So anyway, that's my number 3.
Anyway, okay.
Suck My Kicks and Apache Rose are tied for number 3. Let's put it that way.
Okay, all right. No, I had to gush a little bit about it.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah. But, my number 3 is gonna have to be Funky Monks.
Yes! Oh, man.
Yeah, Funky Monks, good. Man. It's the funkiest one I liked. It does have, like, it's not, like, traditional funk for the most part.
Not really.
But, I mean, there is, it's not like funk, like P-funk, but it's their, right. I think it's their highlight of their style.
Okay.
On this album.
I think that's a good way to justify it. It's a really good song.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's why I liked it. I think it was the most Chili Peppers song on this album.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. My argument to that song of being a super Chili's Peppers song is my number 2, which you didn't care for as much, but is Sir Psycho Sexy.
Sir Psycho's, yeah, I had a hunch it was going to be up there.
Dude, oh, man, come on. All of verse 2 is pretty much amazing. Like the first, so the first 4 lines of verse 2 might be my lines of the album. Specifically one, but deep inside the Garden of Eden, standing there with my heart on bleeding, there's a devil in my dick and some demons in my semen. Good God, no, that would be treason. Oh, dude, there's a devil in my dick and some demons in my semen is probably my line of the album. It's so fucked up and great. And when he's talking about getting pulled over by the lady cop, dude, everything about this is great for me. And they also have a really, yes, it's long, but they've also got, they break it up in a couple of movements with a wild little bridge in there, and I love everything about it, even if it is a little too long.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head for me. It was just kind of, I think I hit the fatigue. By the time I get to this song, I'm like, okay, I get it. But it's like, okay, this is a long fucking song too. Like, you know what I mean? Turn to cherry pie into jam. Like, oh. Yeah, no, that was gonna say, that was the other line that I wrote down for that one. Cause I did want to say they did have good lines, but, for me, by the time I got to this, if I were to hear that song, if I were to hear this album out of order and that one came up, I think it would have stuck out more in my mind.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like, I'm not used to listening to this album in order. Like, I mean, I did when I first found it or when I was introduced to it by, fucking Tom the Bomb that I used to work with. And who I'm surprised I haven't mentioned at this point, but cause he's like probably the biggest Chili Peppers fan that I know. Might be the only person I know that's seen him live. But yeah, like, so whenever I hear that song, I don't know. It's just, it does good things for me.
I got you. Right on. Yeah. But, no, I get it. It's not a bad song. I just, okay. By the time I got there, I was like, okay, anyway.
So what's your number 1, bub?
No, I haven't done my number 2.
Oh, you're right. We're doing this backwards. All right.
Yeah. So my number 2 it's kind of a tie, like, between 2 and 1 was hard for me.
I had
I just couldn't, it's really hard. I kind of go back and forth. I feel like depending on the day, they could switch.
Okay.
But right now what I'm feeling is They're Red Hot's my number 2.
Okay.
I cannot tell you the fucking rabbit hole, the 20-minute long rabbit hole that I went down with this song. Cause like, it's at the end of the album. The first time I heard it, I also didn't know that this was a cover. And then this song comes on, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was like that Cripple Inside. Or no, it was like that moment for me, like, how have I never heard this song? Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Then I found out like, oh, it's a cover, but still like they did it really, really well. And I was, do you want to talk about it now or do you want to wait?
All right. So Robert Johnson wrote this in 1936. So this is an old song and they play it absurdly fast, but it's not a slow song. Like, Robert Johnson himself doesn't play it super slow. Like, he's not going, hot tamales in there. No, I mean, he's like,
no.
He's still, hot tamales on the red hot. Yeah, she got off for sale. He still plays it fast, and this is a great cover of it. A great ode to fucking Robert Johnson. And the way they adapt it into their style is perfect. It's so good, because it's like this song was written for their style to begin with, just in the fucking 30s. The first time I heard this song was probably not, well, it might have been the Chili Peppers version, but I don't really remember it that way. Like, I remember this song sticking out to me, hearing other blues players cover it, and then finding the original. So it's a really fun song. all the way around to begin with, and then they escalate it in a really fun way, I think.
I couldn't agree more. I think and there are a lot of people who've covered this song.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people. I went through the whole list on Spotify of who did this song. And man, I've got some gems for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh man. Okay, so I think they do the best cover for the most part, especially like I think you hit it right on the head with adapting it to their style.
Yeah.
Now, I also found that Eric Clapton did a cover of this song.
That's right.
In fact, what I found out was Clapton did a whole album on Robert Johnson's music.
Yeah.
I knew you would know that, but I didn't know if everybody, because I know you're a huge Clapton fan. So that was surprising to me. And so I listened to a couple of songs from his album from there. Also, another person who covers this song, and I didn't know he was an artist, is his name Hugh Lorien? The guy who plays fucking
House? Yeah.
House, dude. House is a fucking musician, and he covers this song. I had no idea he was a musician.
I didn't either. That's amazing.
Dude. Yeah. That's another gem. Another really good cover is a hip hop or a rap cover by a man named Phoenix Juggernaut.
Okay.
And it is like Stitches doing it, dude. It is fucking gold. It is so fucking good. It is so fucking, it's like, he almost sounds like Master P. He's like,
that's awesome.
It's so fucking, it's so cringy and awful, but it's so fucking funny.
That's amazing.
Okay, so moving on, there are a number of different bands that do this again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them with names like Kingfish.
Okay,
or the Ramble Strutters.
Okay.
And there's a guy named Diamond Jim Green who spelled tamales wrong. He put T-O-E mollies.
Nice.
Not tamales.
Tomales.
Tomales. And then another fun one that's, oh god, it's like shoving glass in your fucking ears. is a group called the Dickory Dogs. And they sing this song like it's fucking Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding.
It
is so fucking cringy, dude.
That's so good.
Oh man, again, I had more fun just looking up this song and fucking finding all this shit out than I had the entire time looking, and this was one of the more fun things, especially reading the history. Just going through that list is fucking, oh my god. Please, people, please listen to Phoenix Juggernaut. Listen to Dickory Dogs do this song. It is so fucking amazingly terrible.
That's awesome, dude. I'm super excited you went down that rabbit hole. 'Cause I mean, for the most part, I've only listened to like blues radio and heard like good covers of it. So, and the original. So,
yeah, and I mean, there's a bunch of there's a couple bands like that, the like women singers that did it, and they were some of the more traditional sound of what it should be.
Right.
But I think they had like the better. I like their version better for the most part. I don't know why a woman singing that song for me is a more. I like it better. I don't know why.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
But, dude, please listen to this fucking crazy shit. Join me in my road to insanity. Anywho, so that's my number 2.
Fucking A, man.
All right, so what's your number 1, man?
Oh man, my number 1 is actually one of your lowlights, and I'm not sure this has happened before.
Really?
Yeah. My number 1 on this album is Mellowship Slinky in B major.
Oh, okay. Why do you feel that way?
Okay, so this bass line for me is my favorite fucking bass line. I love this bass line. Just the And dude, I fucking love this bass line. It's so good. And it's super technical. Like, I know a bass player that I've watched play this, or I watched him fucking learn this bass line, and it's very technical. And so that probably puts like a bit of a what's it called, bias on it. But dude, I love this bass line. I love, the lyrics are just really dumb. Like, it's about sex. Like, but dude, I love popcorn, peanuts, looking at big butts. I love that. The blush my lady when I tell her that I do indeed love to smell her. I love this song. Cock my brain to shoot my load. I'm on the porch because I lost my house key. Pick up my book I read, Bukowski. Can I get another kiss from you? Kiss me right here on my tattoo. I love the lyrics. I like the chorus, how it changes it up so much, and the guitar solo he throws on it. Also, by the way, there's some wicked bass solos on this. And also, like, there's some wicked bass lines that have, like, wah in them. Like bass wah, which is like, If You Have to Ask, I think, or Power of Equality might have it too. Funky Monks definitely has some wicked bass. But I love this bass line, and I love how fun this song is. I know for you it's not, but for me, this song is probably the most fun of the album. So it might be my favorite Chili Peppers song. It's probably not the best Chili Peppers song out there, but or even on the album for that matter, but it's my favorite.
Right on.
Also, it's dedicated to the Lakers, which is really funny. I don't care about basketball,
they're like huge,
but
they're huge fans of Lakers, and I think I just saw something where they had a concert for the Rams coming back to LA or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
What the fuck? Wait. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. Huge Lakers fans, these guys. It's pretty funny. Like, I know when I was talking to Tom after he went and saw him, he said that fucking Anthony Kiedis came out. No. He said the Flea came out on stage, and it was right during like March Madness, and the fucking Spurs were in the finals or some shit like that, or in like the playoffs, and he went and saw him in San Antonio, and the Flea came out on stage wearing the Lakers jersey.
Oh no! I'm surprised he didn't get run out on a rail.
Oh, dude, he said he was just like, dude, people were booing, but then they got into the music because you're here for the Chili Peppers, you know. And everybody knows that the Chili Peppers are huge Lakers fans. Like, it's been solidified since they have been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you can't. That's the one thing about San Antonio. You cannot wear purple and gold in that town. People. I've seen people like literally yell at other people like when I'm on TV because they have a fucking Lakers shirt on. I'm like, oh my god! But
it's the Flea.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's just the
Flea.
thing.
Like,
I get it. I lived in San Antonio when they were in the championships. I get the fever of how much we hate the Lakers. How much everybody in San Antonio hates the Lakers.
I mean, you know, he did it on purpose, like just to agitate.
He twisted the fucking knife. Yeah,
but it's whatever, man. It's the fucking Flea. So I thought that was a fun story. And I just everything about this song screams fun to me, and I just love it. So I know it's not
for sure.
I know it's a low light for you, but it's a highlight for me. And honestly, I think there are probably, like, musically and technically and everything else, there are better songs on this album, hands down. Again, going back to like Apache Rose, but for me, this is my favorite.
Hey man, I can't knock it. If you like it, you like it.
Yeah. So That being said, what's your number one, Bubba?
My number one has to be Breaking the Girl.
Okay. I expected that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a good song. It shows their versatility, versatility, that they're not just a funk band, that they can actually put thought into their words as opposed to it being something silly or sexualized. It's something, even though it talks about relationships, it's not really hyper sex thing that, I don't know. I think it's a really good song. I think it's one of their best. Outside of Love Roller Coaster, this is my favorite Chili Pepper song.
Okay. I mean, that's understandable. Like I said earlier, man, this is a really good example of what they can do when they write a really good acoustic song. And, I mean, I know it's whatever, but like the primary riff is acoustic guitar, right? And this is a good thing. And man, let's be real, like a lot of the tones that come out of the Chili Peppers lyrically are juvenile, but the dude has a great grasp on the English language as far as vocabulary goes and just phrasing.
I think, well, I mean, we've gone through that. So you want to do like a quick wrap up and talk about just all of that as a whole, like what makes this album, what the highs, lows, and just kind of a quick summary of what you feel? Yeah,
we can do that.
Okay.
So yeah, like I think.
You know what? Wait, let me go first, so you can end on, because you're more of a fanboy than I am.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of, for the most part, like I feel their lyrics. That's why I didn't really talk about too much about the lyrics, because even though they're clever, and I think one of the highlights of this band is the lead singer's ability to have that kind of bouncy enunciation.
Yeah.
About him, like how the way he sings is very, very different from any other band for the most part.
For sure.
It's not quite like a rap rock feel, but it has that bouncy kind of thing. I think they all work well. They're all very, very talented, and they're passionate about what they do. However, you know, for the most, I did mention that they, you know, I was surprised at the variety of kind of topics, but the whole like fucking thing is like, okay, I get it. Y'all like to fuck. I get it. I feel like that's like kind of overstated. I think if they would have leaned more toward kind of just opening up and being raw and honest and kind of, you know, delve into these different songs, they could have won a lot more points for me.
Okay.
But I mean, overall, it's a great album. I think it's really, really good. I'm glad I did it. And it honestly, just researching it was really interesting. All these guys have a lot of personality, and I think that adds a lot to their charm.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, cause they're very different people, and they're very kind of outgoing and
man,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a really good album for the most part. I do like the funk. I like how they mix it up, and it shows that, like you said, they're not like a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I think they all do a really good job of showcasing their versatility. They're all so extremely versatile. Like, I mean, from acoustic riffs to some ripping guitar solos to just being able to fucking play a rhythm that supports the Flea. John Frusciante is amazing. The Flea he ranges everywhere from, some of these bass lines are a little more subtle than the other, and you wouldn't know it. And then some of them are right in your fucking face. And fucking Chad Smith is just on point. Like, the motherfucker holds time perfectly. He's got some drum beats that, again, like, this is a band where I notice the drums, and in the best way possible. And that's rare for music in general. Like, the drums are a background thing to, like, keep the band together. And then Anthony Kiedis, like, man, he just, the way he can sculpt a piece of lyrical verse work is really fun but he's also shows that he can be serious with things like, you know, Under the Bridge or My Lovely Man, I Could Have Lied, fucking Breaking the Girl, but also shows versatility in vocal range with like, How Many Pieces Do You Wish? And, you know, the chorus of the same song, Blood Sugar Baby, She Magic, you know, like, he's all over the place, but he knows where to put things. And I think when all of those people come together, they do something that's fucking beautiful. And in my eyes, like, there's the greeting song, Naked in the Rain, Under the Bridge, but yeah, only because it's overplayed. Like, yeah, there's some lowlights here, but they're not songs that I also want to just, like, I hear and go, fuck this song, and hit next. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So, that's my wrap up.
All right.
Shane, I have a very, very important question for you.
Go on.
Where would you rate this song? Well, you know what, before we get to that, does this album deserve to be on the list of 100 greatest albums? What do you think?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I'm 1,000% yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't, as far as we've gotten, I don't know if I would have put it as high as it is, but no, it's definitely, it should be here, for sure. 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's, I think this album's a big deal. Like you were talking about the grunge movement, and there's a funk album in here. I think you phrased it nicely in talking about that, and I think that's a big deal. So then to my important question, on our list between Slanted, Enchanted, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, where would you rate this album?
Oh, on our scale of that, I would actually put it just below P-Funk.
Okay. Just below. Okay.
Just below. I think it's a good album. But as far as funk go, it shows I like their versatility and what they do. When the funk's there, I like it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the highlight of the whole album.
Okay. And as a funk band, you just enjoy Mothership better.
Yeah, I just happen to like that one. Yeah, I did.
Totally understandable. Yeah, I get that.
Okay. Well, where would you put it on our scale from Slanted and Enchanted to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road?
Dude, this is right up there with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. It just
really?
Is. Yeah. Like, this is up there with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Physical Graffiti. Like, those two, this is up there.
Wow, okay.
I love this album.
Alright.
There's so many gems on this. Yeah, it's a little too long. There's a couple of songs that you could live without, but I don't think they're bad. I think they're just okay. And so for an album that has its worst song is just okay, that's at the top of the list for me.
Yeah, alright, there you go. There you have it.
So, I don't know, man.
All right. So that's Blood Sugar Sex Magik, or at least our take on it.
Yeah. So you might have said this or not, but was this the first time you've ever listened to this particular album all the way through?
Yeah. This was the first time. Yeah, until I knew of some songs. Like, I knew the songs that were like on MTV that had a music video, basically.
For sure.
But under that, I hadn't heard. No, I haven't heard. I mean, honestly, this might be the third full Chili Peppers album that I've listened to, and it took me this long to do it.
Okay, I mean, that ain't no thing. I was just curious. And speaking of music videos, look them up. They're fun. They're not the best music videos in the world, but they're fun.
Oh yeah, especially the one where they're all silver. I think that's "Suck My Kiss."
Yeah, probably.
They're all painted silver. That's a fucking weird one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like weird lines, like, so in Mellowship he says, "Kiss me right here on my tattoo." I've never been able to figure out if because maybe I just haven't watched him perform it, or I haven't seen a music video or whatever. But does he have a tattoo on his ass and he's saying "kiss my ass," or does he have a tattoo like right above his dick and he's trying to get you to suck his dick?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know, but I now that you bring up the tattoo thing, I did read an article about how this was like one of the earliest bands who like brought that kind of tattoo culture to light.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because all of these motherfuckers are tatted up.
Yeah, because I think Anthony has a big Quetzalcoatl on his back or something like that, or a big Thunderbird or
something weird, yeah.
Yeah. And then especially like the album art too, it has like that tribal look to it.
It does. And it's got a bunch of roses on it. Like, it's, yeah. It's a really goofy album art. It's got all their faces on it and tribal artwork and a rose in the center. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Anything else you gotta say?
Listen to this album. Fucking everybody out there. Like, I don't give a shit what music you like. You've probably heard songs on this, and you've probably enjoyed it. Listen to the whole thing. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. Check it out. It's a good one.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, well, then go ahead and take us home, Bubba.
Alright, well,
or actually, what are we doing next?
Next.
What's next on the list? Do you know?
Well, this was number 72, which I don't think we mentioned, but it is.
No.
Number 71 is, Tom Waits and his album Rain Dogs.
Oh, Rain Dog. Yeah. I'm kind of excited for this one.
I don't know if I've ever heard this.
I know I haven't listened to this album. I know who Tom Waits is and I know his music, but I don't think I've listened to this particular album.
I think I'm in that same boat. I know of the man and I don't know, but I've heard some of his popular songs, but I'm not familiar with any of his actual albums.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a fun one.
That'll be a fun one. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. We would appreciate it. Reach out to us on Facebook. That's where we will most actively talk to you. I realize I don't post much, but it's a thing. But we'll talk to you there. Comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you think of the album. Did you listen to this and think it was trash? You're wrong, but I respect your opinion. Not really. Anyway, thanks again. Anything else, Shane?
No, we're good.
Okay, well.
Thank you guys for listening. That's it.
Okay, you didn't want to, promote anything you're doing on the side?
No.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens.
Yeah. I got some work to do.
Okay. Well, maybe there's something, maybe there's not. Have a great day. We love you. And listen to all the music we like because we like good music.
That's true. All right, y'all be safe out there. Don't go nuts. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.